If you're new to the project, a big warm welcome. If you're a tough old root, then welcome back. Here on Steve in the Woods, we live 100% off-grid on a 26-acre mountain homestead, and this is our tractor. It's an old Wheelhorse 857, and in today's video, we're going to replace the brake band lining. Here we are in the pallet workshop. Everything here is made out of pallets because that's what we do and that's what we can afford. First and foremost, you'll have to excuse my mess, and you'll have to excuse my tools. They are either salvage, secondhand, or new but cheap. What I've done here, what you're looking at, is the PTO brake system. Right here is the main piece, and then here is the brake band. Now, first and foremost, you want to remove this. Mine was incredibly easy. That was the main issue. I have two issues with this brake and why we are changing it. Three. First issue, it didn't work. Right. Second issue was that this is impregnated with oil or grease. I know the man that I bought this from did a ton of work on this tractor, and one of the things he did was rebuild the transmission and put new seals in it. So I am absolutely certain that the oil came from a bad seal, which is now fixed. That is not an issue any longer thanks to him. But the other issue we had was that the glue was coming off of this. It was only attached in this one section right here. So literally all I had to do was take my pocket knife, stick it in the seam, and twist. Right, and it popped right out. So this is the old brake band here. From this point, all you gotta do, step one, clean everything up. Yes, you can paint them, you can take this wherever you want to go with it, but we need to clean up all the oil and all the gunk. We need to clean up this surface right here. This right here, it's got a little bit of rust, of pockmark rust on it, so we are going to paint this one, and we may paint that one as well. But yes, get it completely cleaned up, especially this surface right here and this surface right here where we'll be attaching the new brake band. I have a tip and a product recommendation. The tip, if you're in a hurry, clean your items with alcohol. It dries really, really quickly. Also, Seal. I know you can't tell what this is, but I know what it is because it doesn't have a label on it. Seal is not only a rust converter, it's also a primer. So instead of getting all of your items squeaky clean, just use this and then paint it the color of your choice. The next step, super duper easy. We're just going to clean up the contact surfaces. We're going to clean up inside of here where our band goes with some really aggressive grit sand paper. I'll be using my Dremel. And yeah, I know, these batteries are pricey, but for some reason it won't work unless the battery's pushed in real hard. So batteries are pricey, but rubber bands are incredibly cheap. Now, we'll also be cleaning up the contact area of this wheel right here, where we're going to use a very fine sand paper. Now, if you want more grab, if you want your brake to stop you quicker and to grab faster, use a aggressive grit. But I don't think that we're going to need that. That'll also wear out your band really, really quickly. So grab your sand paper and just clean up the contact surfaces. You'll have to excuse the added mess here. I make and sell spring development kits, and I had to quickly put together 2 orders. But now that I have, we're back at the Wheelhorse brake. What I've got here is the old brake and the new brake. I've also got a piece of pallet wood that I put a couple layers of brown paper on just to try to keep bits of wood from getting on the back of our brake band. And what we're going to do is take a fabric measure and we're going to measure the old band. We use one of these because it's flexible and it can go around the curved band. I'm going to take that, 3 under 11. Now we know what size to cut this one to, and we will do so with a hacksaw. You can cut this with scissors, but it's not necessarily brittle, but it's a little on the brittle side. So I want to take a slower, more accurate method, because this is the second one that I've bought. Thankfully, the first one was too big, but I did try to bend this too quickly, and it got a tear in it. And that was, I mean, this brake is crucial. We live on the top of a mountain. So, did not want to take any risks. This was only like 10 bucks. I ordered a second one. But yes, 0 risks. This next step is a little fiddly, and you have to be very careful with it. The idea is that we're going to pre-form as much as possible our brake band to the shape of our metal ring here. What we have is I've put new painter's tape on our wheel. That way none of the overspray paint gets embedded in the pores of our brake band. We've also got a small nut, or a small bolt. 1 bolt, 2 nuts, 2 washers, and a C-clamp. And what we're going to do is very carefully, very slowly, because these can crack if you do them too quickly. Very slowly form this around our wheel. We're going to slip our metal ring on it, and by utilizing this bolt through this farthest hole, we're going to be able to put our C-clamp on it and clamp it down really tightly. The best way to get this to hold its shape is time and heat. A little bit of heat. And what I mean by a little bit of heat is I'll put this on the hood of my truck and let the sun warm it. The whole purpose behind this is that we can get this inserted in our ring, once it's got the JB weld on it, without making a complete mess of it. So that's what we're going to do next. And there it is, just a C-clamp on a PTO brake here. I'm going to leave it on the workbench tonight because it is evening. There's not a lot of sun left. But tomorrow morning, first thing, I'll put it on the hood of my truck. We'll let it sit there and get warm the whole day. As it gets warm, it'll become more malleable. So we will crank, not much, but we will crank this C-clamp down a little more throughout the day, in the hopes that 24 hours later, tomorrow evening, we can come back here to the bench and do our epoxy. We're going to take a quick pause to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, me. Here on Steep in the Woods, we sell a variety of products on our website. Not only do we have spring development kits, we also have sediment filters to be used with those kits. We have tabletop water purification filters and worm compost bins. So if you're interested in any of those, click here and check them out. Now that this has taken its shape to some degree, we're going to go ahead and put our JB weld on it. I do have the original, the slow setting JB weld, so we have more time to fool with it and get it perfectly lined up. I've also got the alcohol for cleaning the surface where we will be putting that JB weld, a small bottle, and an applicator. So all we're going to do is take this apart and put it back together with the JB weld and let it sit 24 hours while it cures. Once your epoxy is set up, go ahead and touch up any of that paint that you messed up clamping it down. And then all you gotta do now is install it back on the tractor. The last thing that I'm gonna do on this whole brake deal, at least before we put in our secondary brake lever, is remove this old spring right here. We may reuse him for that secondary lever and replace it with a stronger and larger spring. This actually came off a tiller that we was fixing the other day, and I thought, well, I think that spring will come in handy for something, and here it is. This will work. All right. Well, project replace the brake band lining and the brake return spring is finished. So that's how we changed the brake band lining here on our old tractor and on our Homestead. It's very, very easy. The hardest part was just getting it to our own standards, cleaning off the rust and painting it and just doing the best job that we could. However, there is no reason why you can't do this yourself at home. Always remember, if you liked what you saw, hit that button. If you're new to the project, hit that other button. If you help support the project, there are links below. If you would like a private consultation, or if you have a question you would like a dedicated video on, send us an email here. And until next time, Steve in the Woods.